to A Year of Career, 52 Practical Answers to Your Questions. I'm Erin Wolfram. I own and operate Career Advantage and Career Advantage Golf, where I help people feel more confident and prepared throughout their job search by helping with things like resumes, cover letters, LinkedIn profiles, mock interviews, really just anything job search related. But each week in this podcast, I answer one question from the public. And this week's question is, should I include my picture on my resume? I've actually gotten this question quite a bit recently, so I thought it would be a great time to address it. So typically in the United States, I would say no, you should not include a photo on your resume. Now, I mentioned the United States specifically because there are some countries where that is actually required on the resume. So make sure that if you are applying for a position in a specific country that you look up the recommended content that should be included for a resume for that specific location. But in the United States, typically, unless you're applying for a position where your physical appearance is part of the job, so most of the time those types of jobs are going to be in the entertainment industry. So if you're applying for a job as an actor or a model or a musician or a dancer or something like that, then a professional photo is oftentimes required as part of the application process. But for any other job, typically that's not going to be something that you'll want to include. And you might be thinking, well, they can just Google me or, do an online search and easily find out what I look like. And that is true, but what you really want to do with your resume is include content that is relevant to the position. And your physical appearance usually is not relevant to the position that you are applying for. So really target your information, target your content on your resume to that specific job. And make sure that you're including all of your skills, strengths, and qualifications that are related to that job and demonstrate the value that you will bring to that organization. And again, your physical appearance really has nothing to do with the value that you will bring to an organization. By including your photo on the resume, that could cause people to, develop some sort of opinion about you, which isn't something that they certainly should do, but it could happen, and so you just don't want to give them that opportunity. Again, you might be thinking, well, they can just do an online search and view my LinkedIn profile, and again, make them take that next step. And I do think, a lot of hiring committees are going to do an online search for candidates, but they're typically not doing it to find out what the candidate looks like. Instead, they're trying to make sure that that person has a positive online appearance, or I'm sorry, a positive online presence, so they know that that person is going to represent their company well. If they do an online search and they find a lot of negative information about someone, that could be a red flag. And so that's usually what they're looking for when they do an online search. They're not trying to figure out what the candidate looks like. In fact, that's highly unethical, and they cannot do that as far as hiring practices go, or they certainly should not. So make sure that your online presence is as good as it possibly can be, because likely the hiring committee will do an online search, and so you want to make sure that what they are finding is positive. If you do a search of yourself, which I recommend that you do, and you find something negative from the past, do whatever you can to take that content down and make sure that someone else who does a search of your name is not able to find that content. So make sure you have a positive online presence, and I would not include your photo on your resume. Just make sure that it is specifically targeted to the job and has strong action verb statements that demonstrate measurable results and show the value that you will bring, and that will be far better than including a photo. So I hope that provides a little bit of information on why I recommend that you do not put a photo on your resume. If you have further questions or need assistance with anything else, you can always reach out to me. My websites are careeradvantageresumes.com or careeradvantagegolf.com. You can also find me on social media on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram at @careeradvantageresumes, and on Twitter it's @advantagecareer. Thank you and have a great day.